Hi everyone, this is Ramalinga Prasad Kuppa. Welcome to my channel, Pharma World. Today's topic is Batch Manufacturing Record, that is BMR review. What is BMR? It is a batch manufacturing record. Manufacturing means it is a sum total of all activities starting from the receipt, testing, production, distribution, etc. This is defined clearly in the glossary section of ICH Q7. So, the BMR contains details of raw materials used in the process, equipment used, in process testing, in process QA monitoring, intermediate testing, packaging, and release of the final product into the market. Some people call it a batch production record, BPR. But in reality, many other manufacturing activities are also monitored in the BMR. It may be apt to call it a BMR. Let us see more. What is BMR? We know BMR is a batch manufacturing record. So BMR is a record specific to a product and batch number. It is a controlled document which details all the activities involved in dispensing, production, testing, and packaging of the product from start to finish. BMR is a copy of the master BMR, that is MBMR. In most cases, BMR is a true copy of the master. It may be a photocopy of the master or an electronically generated and issued copy of the master. BMR contains the details of 1. Name of the product, strength, batch number. The QA issued BMR contains product name and strength and unique batch number. Date of issue is also will be recorded by the issuing authority. Equipment train. Equipment train from start of the production till the end of the production and further packaging activity. Packaging activity includes labeling, sealing, and transferring to the bonded store with bill of materials. Necessary input materials. All necessary input raw materials from approved stock should reflect the bill of materials in BMR. Packaging materials may be reflected separately in supplementary BMR for packaging. Packaging materials include primary package, secondary package, labels, seals, etc. Appropriate in-process testing. In-process testing requirements at appropriate steps of the process and yield details, any deviations, changes, OOS results, etc. Yield details at every isolated stage of the process. It is important to check if there were any deviations, changes, or any OOS investigations recorded and concluded with kappa. Why we should review the record? This is required as prescribed in GMP guidelines ICH Q7 section 6.7 for APIs and 21 CFR part 211.192 for dosage forms. So ICH Q7 is for APIs and 21 CFR part 211.192 is for dosage forms. Prescribe detailed conditions for BMR review. The purpose of BMR review is to check whether or not all the steps prescribed in the BMR are complied as per the GMP requirements. The purpose is clear. The data from BMR should reflect the exact process and activities that were carried out during the manufacturing of the product. If there are any deviations, it should be recorded, explained, and investigated with mitigation activity. This is important. All such GMP related issues should be recorded and justified with CAPA for impact mitigation. The BMR should be reviewed for completeness, resolving all issues related to the BMR before the batch is released to the market. This is a check that the process is done correctly and the product quality is assured. All this review should be completed before the batch is released to the market. Let us see how to review the BMR. First step is to check for the correct product name, strength, valid version number of the BMR, batch number, and date. This is the first step. It may be necessary to check whether the BMRs requested by the production department are in sequence or not. If not, it may be clarified why was there a gap. Check for raw material input details. All the input materials should be from approved stock. Check for equipment identification. Critical equipment should be identified for the process. 21 CFR Part 211.105 prescribes this for dosage forms. Section 6.5 of ICH Q7 has similar prescriptions for APIs. Check for each process step and its sequence of operation. Each step operation should be checked for compliance to specifications. Check for in-process checks at appropriate stages of the process. Reaction completion tests, monitoring of temperature or pH, or any other critical in-process controls should be checked. Also, it should be checked whether the particular step was carried out after the approval by the objective evidence of in-process result. Check for yield. Yield within the expected range at every isolated stage of the process should be checked. Check if any deviations or changes or OOS are addressed and closed out with necessary CAPA. This is important to comply to the GMP. All these items should be checked and closed out with necessary investigations and mitigation plan. See this flowchart for BMR review as a ready reckoner. The flowchart would help to review the BMR effectively. There could be two strategies for BMR review process. This first strategy of flowchart could be helpful for every batch review. The issue record should match with the valid version of the BMR. Check if full BMR was submitted for review. The process start date and completion date should be checked. Checking of the correct equipment, signatures of the personnel concerned, checking of inputs if there are from approved stock, process parameters, sign off by the supervisory staff should be done. Let us see some more checks in the next slide. In continuation, see, all these details should be checked for compliance. This is the minimum requirement of checking each BMR for compliance. The next strategy is the random checks. These random checks should be done with a definite frequency. It may be done once every 10 batches or once every week or fortnight. Because these are common for many batches, these checks lead to a wide and comprehensive areas of GMP compliance. Let us see the importance of BMR. BMR is an important record that describes the calendar of events for the particular product and batch. Let us understand the importance of BMR. This is practically a live video of the activity with the four aspects of the activity. The four aspects are who, what, when, and why. This is the basic principle of audit trail to check for Alcoa compliance. I hope you know the Alcoa and plus principles. BMR contains several important steps of manufacturing that confirms whether or not the process is carried out as per approved document. So BMR is an approved document with approved content, which should be followed fully without any slips. Objective evidence, proof as attachments at various stages are also part of the BMR. Objective evidence include input materials approved slips, QC test reports for in-process, intermediate, and or final product, packaging list, specimen label, etc. BMR is a regulatory negotiable document that is reviewed thoroughly and completely for checking the compliance of the process steps that establishes a quality product. It is the primary document for the inspectors to verify if all steps are being carried out as per the approved BMR. This review is a regulatory process of checking the sequential steps of the manufacturing process from start to finish. This point should be kept in mind. The batch should start only after the BMR issue date. All inputs must be used in the production after QC approval date. The date of release of the product to the market should be after approval sign off on the BMR. There are many sequential linked steps for checking for compliance. Any in-process control evidence should be obtained before going to the next step. Examples include controls like reaction completion test is reported by QC. Next stage should be taken up. Unloading of dry material from a dryer should be done only after the QC releases the LOD or Carl-Fisher result to permit unloading of the dry material. The checking should be leading with and just not yes or no type. There should be a brief written justification if there are any minor unintended delays or wrong entries or any other minor or major explanations. The persons reviewing the BMR should be adequately trained. This is important. Personnel who are designated for BMR review should be trained. They should be able to check the log browser data for any electronically operated equipment. They should also know how to check the manual audit trail of records by questioning who, what, when, and why of the activity. If there are any unresolved issues, they should be closed scientifically and completely. So the reviewer must make sure that all these items are closed out with objective evidence. Certain CAPA mitigation plans may take some time. That should be documented in the BMR. The entire docket, including the BMR, certificate of analysis of the batch, specimen label of the batch for finished product, should be a part of the final docket. This should be the complete docket for the batch. The entire docket should be preserved 1 year at least after the expiry of the product for any reference. This is the requirement as per section 6.13 of ICH Q7 for APIs and 21 CFR part 211.180 for dosage forms. As per regulatory requirements also, the inspectors may request a docket for the last few years depending upon the shelf life. The auditors may ask for BMRs that are as old as 5 years depending upon the expiry date of the product. For finished product BMR, it is necessary to carry out the label reconciliation for the labels used. A separate SOP is required for label reconciliation. This is something like a balance sheet. How many labels were received from the printer? How many were issued? How many were used? How many were destroyed? And how many were returned, etc. Checking for cleaning records is also a part of BMR checking with a defined frequency. Example, batch to batch, monthly cleaning, quarterly cleaning, etc. This strategy is for dedicated equipment. The batch to batch cleaning may be a part of BMR itself. Monthly cleaning may be thoroughly cleaning every month. Quarterly cleaning may be completely dismantling the equipment and reassembling them after the cleaning. All these cleaning records should be checked as part of BMR review. Checking of environmental monitoring records for clean rooms. These records also must be checked as part of BMR review to establish that the working condition of clean rooms is okay. Checking of line clearance documents. Line clearances mean that the equipment train is cleared from the previous batch related all supplies are cleared to start the next batch or next process. IPQA observations may be considered for any future improvements. Observations made by IPQA team during routine online inspections and spot checks are useful for improvements. I hope that this strategy of BMR review is understood well. The flowchart is very helpful to the review process for routine checks and random checks. If this strategy is suitable for your operations, You may revise your SOP to incorporate these aspects. Thanks for watching. For more videos, please do subscribe, like and share. Also, please leave a message in the comments box for any further support. Thank you.